Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Wild&Wingless. Tonight I got with myself Mitchell Broome from South Australia. Mitchell, how are you tonight?
Oh, I'm good, mate. How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm very well. Thank you for agreeing to come on the show. Poor Mitchell got stuck with me at Toowoomba there after the first round of the WoW series, and I twisted his arm to give me some time to have a chat. Um, Mate, I've sort of gotten to know your name more so around the results side when you look at wingless racing over the last few years, and whenever you sort of look up any sort of wingless results. Um, to know you as a person, I'm only just starting to learn who you are. But if you could sort of give us a bit of a speed on, how you came to racing wingless and where you sort of gone from to get to where you are today.
Yeah. So I reckon I was about 9. I reckon I raced bitchman carts early on. I reckon I did about 10 years of bitchman karting. So learned how to drive, doing that sort of stuff. And yeah, kind of like I got into all that. So both my parents raced, like so, mum and dad both. The dad raced speedway, mum raced go karts. And then and my grandparents on both sides raced as well. So nan and pa raced
Really?
speedway on dad's side, and my pa raced go karts on mum's side. So I never really had a choice, I like to say, but no, I loved every second of it. But yeah, we started with karts because I know not really a big fan of junior sedans and all that sort of stuff. I think I learned more racing like bitchman karts, like learn a bit more craft and how to actually drive other than just run into other people all the time. So yeah, I started like everyone else did in midgets, then moved up to rookies and juniors and moved on through to, I reckon I was about year 12. I gave up racing in year 12 so I could focus on school,
Hmm.
which didn't mean nothing
Yeah, I
because
was
I
going to say, how'd that go?
didn't do great at school. I was doing good and then kind of butchered it. So, and then yeah, after that, there's a guy, Marcus Stewart, down here. He had a go kart that he was racing, and he kind of didn't want to race it for a bit. So I jumped in and did a few races in his kart, and then that was right when all the rules changed in go karts, all the engines, all the karts, everything kind of had to. That when what's his name, Mick Doohan took over when he changed everything. So I had the option to go buy a $10,000 go kart or a $12,000 wingless at the time. So when we decided, like I've always wanted to jump into speedway, but never really did it, kind
Yep.
of thing. Always been out there, always been out the speedway. Like dad's been involved at Borderline for years, so I've always been out there. And yeah, finally took the plunge really and had a drive. I drove. I drove James Stark's wingless
Yep.
early on, and then yeah, we found a car over Victoria way and bought that with a heap of spares, and we've kind of been hooked ever since.
Yeah, right. So I was reading an old profile, which is not going to help me. But how many years have you been in wingless now for?
I reckon I was looking back the other day. I reckon it was about the 15-16 season. I reckon I started.
Really?
Yeah, but
Wow.
then like I think we only did 6 or 7 race meetings in that year.
And
Like
then yeah.
kind of with not half-assed it, but just didn't do much traveling. Like I think we went to Murray Bridge once, and then everything was just kind of Mount Gambier, Warrnambool, and then Hamilton and all that sort of stuff. So like all the local stuff, just trying to learn before we throw ourselves in the deep end.
Yeah, no, understandable, understandable. Well, I mean, it's safe to say that what you guys have been doing has been working. You've got a lot of sort of good results over the years. Um,
Yeah,
I wouldn't say you finally found your feet last season, but one of them was to win a state title. I think in this day and age in wingless racing is exceptionally difficult. To win
yeah,
two in one season, I think
yeah. We
that's that's a
had a
that's a tough one.
pretty good run. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
talk to me about that Northern Territory one.
um well so I'd never been to Darwin, never seen the place, and
Well, so
we
hang on,
actually
sorry.
decided.
So what, you never watched Chariots or anything like that?
Oh, not really. Like I'd kind of
What?
like we'd
Come
tuned
on,
in
man.
every now and then, but
They used to have it
I was kind
free.
of
You should have been watching all the time. Come
I know I
on,
should have.
support
Well,
Speedway.
few times I was overseas and
Oh,
kind of
okay.
going having
Too busy,
holidays and
too
sort of
busy.
stuff, and
Yeah, holidays.
yeah,
What are
just flat
they?
out,
The rest of us don't have
flat out.
holidays,
Yeah,
mate. Jeez. All right, tell us
I
about it.
can't anymore. Too broke now, um, but yeah. So went up there. We were actually going up there the year before when it was supposed to be sprint cars, wingless, and speed cars.
Yep.
And then COVID hit like 3 days before we were going. Or actually, was 3 days before the event. We were halfway there. We got to Coober Pedy, which is about halfway to Darwin, and they locked the borders down. So we either had the choice to wait it out or come home. So we come home because we didn't want to get locked out of work. So we said we pretty much, it was a long way there to turn around and have a pretty quiet drive home, thinking you were supposed to be going to Darwin and going back through SA. So, but yeah, on that drive home, Dad and I, we decided, yeah, we'll stuff it. No matter what, we'll go to Darwin next year and have a crack. And yeah, when they said they put Wingless on again, we thought we'd go up there, and we weren't even going to do the weekend before. Like, we were just going to go up for chariots, and then we said, well, stuff it. It's a long drive. We might as well do the week before, get some laps in before, because like it was more, those races were all kind of just testing, because we, like, the whole idea was to go up there and win chariots. That's where they put the money, and that's what everyone was up there to win. So yeah, I did all right. The Darwin title was the Friday night, and I think I started on the front row. I reckon I had a couple of pretty good heats, and I ended up running fourth. So I got passed on the last lap. I was running third for most of the race and got passed on the last lap, on the last corner. So come fourth, and I was pretty bummed about that. Still, even now, I'm still pretty bummed that I thought I was running high, and the guy that passed me just sailed it around the fence. So that kind of taught me, go up top. Like, when you're going to run high there, you got to be banging the fence down. So, and yeah, the next night we had a good one. I started maybe third, I reckon, in the final, and got to second early. Ran the bottom for the first couple of laps and kind of picked off a couple, and set in, and I was right behind Blake Walsh.
Yep.
And then I got balked by a couple of lap cars, and he ended up with like a straight length advantage on me. And then him and Freddie unfortunately took each other out.
Yep.
Had their incident, and I kind of inherited that one, and never kind of looked back really. I watched it afterwards, and I never realized how big of a gap I pulled. So like, we had the speed. I didn't get very lucky with lap cars. Like, at the start of that race, like the first couple of lap cars really didn't do me any good, and lost a heap of ground. So so kind of inherited that one, but I definitely think I had the speed to stay with him if things went my way. But that's racing.
No, well, look what happened at the end. You still came away with it, didn't you?
Yeah, still come away with it. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, isn't
it? That's it. I'll take the luck any day.
Definitely.
And then, so after that, obviously the Victorian title. Tell us about that one. Was that? I'm not going to take a stab in the dark. I was going to say Simpson, but that wasn't Simpson, was it?
No, Simpson was a couple of years before, I reckon. But no, this one was at Portland.
Portland, yep.
Portland, so only an hour away from home. So nice little local track there. They've just done a heap of work to it over the last couple of years. So
yeah, nice.
Good that they gave Wingless a shot, and done really well.
So how does the Wingless get around Portland?
We've had I've only done a couple of runs there since they did it, and it's both times been with sedans and kind of a bit choppy and ruddy. So, and like, you never want to bag them, but like sometimes, like, I just don't know if they had the equipment and the I don't know if they got the equipment and the manpower, like, because sometimes it felt like it seemed a little under prepped, like it was a little bit. It was just a bit rough.
Okay.
But yeah, I definitely think they've got a winning formula there. Like, a cool little track. If they just get a little bit of work, they've just got to click one night. They just got to get it right on one night. Like, I don't know what it's like for other classes. I haven't actually been there for the other classes. I think the sprint cars go all right there. They blow it off.
Yep.
But we've always been on with sedans, and it always chops it back up again, and always ends up fast and rough. So, but I think it blew off a little bit for our our big title.
Yep.
But I know I ran the bottom the whole race just because that's where I felt. I don't even think I even tried up top. It's just
wherever you come to.
I was running second, and I just was right behind him, right behind the leader, and just kind of keeping up with him there. So I was kind of just ticking the laps down a little bit. So, but unfortunately for Jack, another thing, I kind of inherited that one as well. Jack was running like I wouldn't say I was right there with him, but I was kind of matching the speed, and he had a parts failure in his front end and ended up in the fence. So I inherited that one with 10 laps to go too. Both of them have been with about 10 to 15 laps to go. I've inherited the lead, and it's stressful.
Yeah.
15 laps. Like that Darwin one, like, we were right on the fence. Like, it was like hitting the fence just to get the thing turned sometimes. So
really?
It was yeah, like you slide into it and bounce off it and drive off. So it was yeah,
Jeez.
pretty wild. That like Darwin's such a cool place. Like
Yeah,
it's
right.
like um like obviously you would have watched the chariot stuff and
Yep.
even the year before with the wingless and I'd argue that the wingless racing sometimes better than the sprint car racing there. Like the sprint cars are cool and they're running the fence and all that, but we're all like good speeds where we're chucking sliders at each
Yeah.
other and they're like yeah, I reckon there was one even in a heat race. I reckon I was racing Keelan Edwards from up there, and I reckon him and I changed like we threw about 3 sliders on each other in the lap. Like I reckon it was like turn one, I passed him, he passed me
Yep.
back out of 2, and then I threw another one at 3. Like it's such a cool place that invites awesome racing for literally nearly every class that goes there. So
It does too. You're right. You're spot on. But I
it's
agree with you. Wingless, for some
such a
reason,
cool
they're
place.
just,
So
man, we can put on a great show. I don't know if it's the fact that aero push, maybe. With sprint cars, you're behind the other car. You can't sort of get that. I don't
yeah,
know.
you
But
can't like the wing with a bit of the wing speed and all that, you
yeah,
can't really follow anyone. Whereas we like that final race where me and Temby, like we were racing wheel to wheel for
yeah,
the laps, just throwing sliders at each other. So no, it's such a cool place. I loved it. I was pretty bummed that I couldn't get back there to defend my title this year.
yep.
I wanted to, but it's a long way to drive for one race meeting, especially because like they put us on for wingless, like wingless on for chariots afterwards, but like you didn't know that. So
No, didn't know that at all. Yeah.
long way to drive 4 days each way to get there for
Four
one race
days.
meeting. So yeah, it's
I mean, you're
geez, a
right.
long
You
way.
don't
So
think about that sort
3
of
and a
stuff.
bit,
Yeah.
probably 4 if you cruise. You could probably do it in 3, I reckon. But I
Yeah.
know I flew last time, so it only took me about 4 hours. So
The bloke who has all these holidays just flying. Um,
yeah,
which
definitely.
put which one do you prefer? Did you prefer the V1 or the NT1? Which one? Well, back then
Um,
when you won them, sorry to cut you off. Back when you won them, you have the same problem as Tyson has.
yeah,
Tyson Williams.
couldn't run it.
You can't run the number. So
No,
until this year,
yeah,
which they turned around and
yeah.
changed
Until
it. So we're
we've
seeing the
changed it
V1
now.
out.
So.
But which one did you? I don't know. Which one do you prefer out of the two?
Well, the NT1 was special because it was the first, but like the Victorian, like the racing down to Victoria is that tough. Like I was pretty, like I've been racing down here for that long and chasing it for years. Like it was cool to get the NT1 straight up, but
Yep.
yeah, I've done a fair few Vic titles over the years, and like I never really even got close to one. Like I've been top 5 maybe once and a couple of top 10s, but yeah, never really got close to one. So
Yeah. Right.
yeah, I've been chasing that one for a while. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that one. So
No, you've done
yeah,
something that I mean, a lot of people can't, don't win a state title in their careers, let alone two, in the same
that's
season. So
that's why we decided to run the one. Like you never know, I might never not ever win another state. Like I might never win a national title. You might never win another state title in your life. So while I've got the opportunity to put a number 1 on my car, like I said to Dad, I said we might never ever get to do this again. So
yep,
I hope we do. And like the plan is to never put the 35 back on. Like you want to go out there and win one every year now that you've won one, but
that's it.
you got to be realistic about these things and go, look, you might never do it again. So
Yeah.
embrace it while you can. And
No,
yeah,
that's a good that's a good look
haven't
on
had
it.
any luck with it yet.
Well, yeah, like I know
That'd
someone
be
else
nice.
similar, but yeah,
Yeah.
um,
I think all of us, other than Scotty Thompson, everyone that's put a number 1 on their car lately seems to be sucking.
yeah, Scotty Thompson, yeah, lucky Sportsbet didn't have any odds going for that first round,
Oh, we would have
because
been paying $1.05. Oh,
oh mate,
but
that would
like
have been bad. Now yeah, so
same
well,
with like Jacob go up there, like you like at Lismore, like you might be the favourite, but you still got to go out there and execute. So
absolutely, yeah,
credit to him, like he put on a great weekend and had a great run in that final, and like same with Jacob at the Aussie title Lismore, like the amount of pressure he would have had on him to go
mm,
out and win that race is like up against probably I think was there 80 cars at Lismore, like 80 of the best wingless drivers in the country, and
74. I have from memory
there's
74,
yeah
but could be wrong. It could
six
be
or
80.
80, but like the amount of pressure that he would have been under to go out and win that race, like credit to him, he went out and executed and
You're right. You're
got it
spot on,
done.
right?
So
And especially like a track like Lismore, which I'm not going to try and it didn't offer for a lot. It wasn't easy to pass, put it that way. So
it was definitely a tough weekend. Like you had to
yeah,
make the most of the opportunities, and I
if
know
he,
I had a heat race where I got passed by a couple of cars, and it buries you a little bit. So
yeah,
and like I still had a great weekend at Lismore, but like you kind of look back at it and go, like I had a heat race with Mocky, and he was just aggressive and he passed me.
Yeah.
And you kind of look back and like, oh, if I hold that spot, that's 2 more, 3 more
Yep.
spots up in the
Yep.
feature. And you don't start, hence you start in the top 5 and you can have a proper crack at it.
Yes. But no,
So
you're
yeah.
right. I never thought about the amount of pressure that would have been on Jolly that night, both
Oh, it would
nights,
have been
and
really.
all he
I
needed was
sometimes feel it at the mountain, like they like just racing here, like on a series night, they promote you and they always say, oh, your local favourites like Mitch
ooh.
Broome, Kirby, and like you come in, you're like, oh man, I actually don't go that well at borderline, so you're putting even more pressure on me than I need to. So yeah, but no, you kind of got to embrace it and
Yeah.
hope for the best sometimes. But
Well,
when it's your night, it's your night. So
yeah, that's true. A few months ago, we had this concept that got put out there in wingless racing, the WOW series. You were, I believe, going back, you were the first driver announced as a contracted driver.
yeah, I think they actually just did it in the order of who submitted their contracts in. Like, I remember as soon as I got it, I just signed it, paid me bill, and got
That's
in.
a
So
no, Mitchell. No, no. Take the win when you get one. You're the first one
okay,
announced. There we go. First one announced out of 20. And I remember when I saw that, I was like, wow. All right, this is pretty cool. Let's see who's next. And they had us going for a while. Everyone was staying tuned. I know me and some mates were sort of messaging each other and all the rest every time another driver was announced. We're like, oh, you know,
and you
like
realise like without the exceptions of about 4 or 5 people that couldn't do it for whatever the reasons they can't do it, it's the best cars. Like other than like you're not going to get the Perth guys coming over to do it. Like it's logistically, like we're not sprint car teams. We can't afford. We
no,
don't have the budgets for them to come over and base a car over here. So hopefully when we go over there for the titles, like maybe they put a round on. Like I think the Aussie titles in Western Australia next year. So hopefully, like if we if we could have we're like all the top guys, you're going to go to it anyway. Like most of the contracted guys are going to make the trek to Perth to try win an Aussie title. So why not have a round over there and make a weekend out of it? Like make a couple of good weeks out of it, which would be really cool. So, but yeah, when you see the list of names that come out behind you,
that was
like,
impressive.
holy heck! Like,
that was impressive, and I remember just sitting there and like Batesy got called, Temby got called with it. Oh, here we go, we're on, and it started going through, and then I do remember we were sitting there thinking, all right, so when are they going to name there was some drivers that didn't get named, especially some from Victoria, and you're sitting there thinking, hang on, what's happened here? Have I miscounted? But obviously people have things on or
like
things,
I know
whatever.
there's a couple of guys there's definitely a couple of guys like you think like Wheelie, Trav Miller, like they've both been the two probably most dominant guys in Victorian wingless racing for the last 10 years, really. Like the amount of races those two have won combined is ridiculous. But yeah, I think they both just had other plans and couldn't commit to all 5 rounds. So but yeah, can't wait. Like, I think Wheelie's coming up to Sydney. Like
he is.
Just adds another bit of pressure. Like you think the 20's hard enough, and you look at the list of names that you've got there to race against. Like I might not even make halfway through.
Okay, so that's where we sort of jumped a bit forward here, but that's where the Sydney's round is going to be better than the other rounds because we go out to 24 cars. So
that's
that's
we only ran 20 at 20 at Toowoomba, didn't we? Yeah.
Yes. So you were named one of the contracted drivers. Now, just talking about that aspect of it, what did that mean to you? What did discuss your thoughts on that?
Well, I just think it's cool. Like when I first started out this, like I did that Speedway Australia Rising Star program, and I think it was about 2017 or 2018 I did it. And I always said, like, they interviewed me then and like what's your goals? And I'm like, well, I don't know if I can never afford to race a sprint car. Like I don't have the budget for it. Like unless you get lucky and some guy puts you in their race car, like I'm not going to be able to afford that. So, but I'm quite comfortable racing a wingless. And my aim was always just to try to be the best guy out there. Like, I've always wanted to be one of those guys that when they see my name on the entry list, they go, shit, Broome is racing. So nice. That's just the goal. Like you've got guys, like every time you see Wheelie go far out, that's going to be difficult. Like you see like Joel Chadwick's back racing, like you see his name going, holy crap. Like the guy's quick and everything. So like you see those names and you go, I want to be one of them. So to be part of the contracted cars, you kind of feel like you've nearly accomplished that a little bit. So that's, it's always been the goal just to try stay at the top of what we do. So, yeah.
How are you finding the series? I mean, we've only had round one, but tell us about your round one experience.
It was a short recap. We sucked. I just struggled. Like I'd never seen Toowoomba before, and we just got it totally wrong in the heats. We were way too hooked up. Like if you go back and watch my second heat, like it's been a long time since I've started in the front row of a heat race and finished fifth in it. So like
Wow.
I was just tired and couldn't drive it. So we threw the kitchen sink at it in the B main, and we actually probably went too far. I was actually a little bit too free and ended up sitting there buzzing the wheels the whole time. So,
Right.
but yeah, we got it, made the show, which is that's all the main thing. Once you make the show, that's where it all kind of starts. So
Yeah.
but yeah, no, I think I passed 4 or 5 cars, and I think I finished 15th. I was running with how cool is like you're banging wheels with Sammy Walsh. Like how cool is that he wants to come down and race wingless sprints? Like it's just awesome. Like
Yeah.
the fact that he obviously he got the offer, but obviously that he actually thought highly enough of this national series, and he wanted to come down and spend his weekend in Toowoomba
Yep.
away racing a wingless. It's good, good for the class. Like I can't see any problem with what's going on there. I think what Nathan Smee's racing
Yep.
in Sydney.
Nathan
So
Smee has that
the
one.
more
Yeah.
the more the merrier, I reckon.
Yeah.
Because it means you can come down and you can race against these guys, and they might actually people realise that racing a wingless isn't easy. It's got some bloody good drivers out here and that. So yeah, for them to come down, to want to come down and race in the WOW series with us, I reckon that's pretty awesome. So to race with him was cool because I'll probably never get to race him in a sprint car, so it'd be cool for him to come down to my level.
No, you're right.
So
That's
yeah,
a very good point you raised. I mean, he's from Sydney, so he travelled up to Toowoomba for that weekend to race.
yeah, it's not a short drive for him
No,
either. So
no. So I didn't think of it like that before. Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it.
yeah,
That's
he's taken a whole weekend
yeah,
because you're not leaving that night. You're going the next day, so
yep,
he's spent his whole weekend just to come up to Toowoomba and race a wingless. So
yeah,
I
yeah,
reckon that's awesome, and the more the merrier. I
yeah.
reckon
No, I
all the
agree. I
sprint car
agree.
guys, if they can find a ride and come down and have a dip,
Well,
be
I'm
cool.
I'm curious to see. So that was Ray Stansel, Pat's Powder Coatings. He was the car
Yep.
owner who made that happen, and he's the guy that's putting Nathan Smee in the car this next round.
Yep.
So Ray, thank you very much, Ray. But
Yeah,
I'd
definitely.
like to
Thank
think
you.
Ray's gonna keep going for the rest of the series. So he'll be at all 5 rounds. I'd like to think he's gonna be at all 5 rounds with a different driver.
It'd be awesome.
Yeah,
I definitely think because they're doing that thing. If you race all 5 rounds, you're in the run for a chassis.
yep,
Even though they're different drivers, I reckon and stuff. He's committed to put people in the car.
yeah.
I reckon let him in the draw too.
The
Because if
team
he
should
can get
go
all
in
5
absolutely.
cars to a
Yeah,
round,
yeah,
even if he wants to put a Victorian sprint car driver in it, imagine if you could just say Jamie Veal or something. If you wanted to put him in a weekend,
mate.
how cool would it be?
You're making yeah.
Most of us guys are never going to race against sprint car
No,
drivers like that. So
no.
if if any of them wanted to come down and jump in a wingless, and someone not just necessarily if someone wanted to chuck him in a car, it'd be awesome.
Yeah, no, I again never thought about that, but I wouldn't put it past good old Ray. He's a good man, and he likes promoting the series. What do you think about the series? So we're going to go to do I call it the prelude to the WOW Series 2, which is this weekend. You're not coming this weekend. You are going to where are you doing this weekend?
So we're racing Bordertown on Friday night.
Right.
The first ever race meeting there, so that'll be cool. I had a practice run there probably a month ago now, and it's awesome.
Awesome.
It is as good as it looks. Yeah,
Really?
what they've done there. Oh yeah, what they've done there is just so impressive. Like that, I've raced the Bordertown before, and I thought it was a cool little track beforehand.
Yep.
But now it's just crazy. Like it's the closest we're ever going to get to racing racing in America, like that sort of stuff. And
yes.
And yeah, probably be different. Like expecting a bit of rain this week, so it's probably going to be hooked up again, and probably won't show its full potential. But
yep.
Yeah. So, but I can't wait to have a crack there.
Right.
Especially
so you're racing there on Friday night. Where are you on Saturday night? Or you?
Saturday night we're at Borderline. First round of the SA. Yeah, the SA Triple Crown.
Oh,
series,
sorry. Yeah, and then you're racing. Oh, yeah, 2 races. Oh no, so it's Friday night and Saturday night, same place. Gotcha.
Friday night's at Bordertown, Saturday at Borderline. So.
Right. There we go. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's your weekend taken up, and I noticed a few other boys from the WOW series are staying home. The Victorian guys have got some racing locally.
Yeah, I think it's the second round of it's technically the first round because last week got washed out of the Victorian Super Series.
Super Series, that's right. Yes.
So yeah, a lot of those guys are going to Simpson, which they'll get some good laps there before the WOW goes there in February.
You're sort of palming off the going to Eastern Creek before the round 2, but they're also getting some practice laps in for round 3. So I can understand. Yeah,
3 of the Wild tracks are running this weekend, so
it's pretty crazy.
all on
Eh?
the same night. So yeah,
we got like 50. I think it's like 54 people for this weekend at Eastern Creek, and
crazy
now
the numbers you guys are getting on a club show these days. It's
well, no,
nuts.
we've got a lot of imports. So we've got a couple of Mexicans coming up, a couple of Queenslanders coming down. So it's going to be good. I think we've got
awesome.
one. I definitely know we have one sprint car driver. We may have 2 sprint car drivers. We've got a couple of speed car. Like it's going to be insane. And these videos we're doing together, our episodes, this is going to show people how pre-recorded they are. Because at the moment there's 59 cars entered for the second round of WoW series. But by the time this goes to light, there's going to be 60. But anyway, so
definitely because well, there's only one more spot left. So
one more spot.
Probably be filled.
I'm thinking of trying to build a second car and see if I can get entered, and I'm allowed to go race it. Because man, it's going to be a race, I reckon. Like, and you're allowed the 24 cars. The pit area is really. You've been to Eastern Creek before, haven't you?
No, I haven't seen it yet. So
really,
I haven't. Yeah, I raced Parramatta, but I've never been. You know, I only got to race Parramatta the once as well. So.
Oh, dude, you're gonna love it. Like the pit area
never seen
pit area is amazing. It's all tarmac. You got to bring tarps and all that sort of stuff. But anything wrong with the pits? No power, so you got to have your noisy Jennies. But
got to bring the generator.
Oh, mate, you're gonna love it. You guys are gonna absolutely love it. And like you don't have to worry about like when you sort of have to get underneath the car, bloody.
Yeah, you're not rolling around in the dirt and everything.
It's nice.
We take a tarp everywhere now anyway because it's just easy to work on the cars.
You think about it too. Like nowadays, the tarps aren't what they used to be. Now you got all your team numbers and sponsors and this. The tarps like
seriously impressive stuff.
Yeah. So
we've only got a little basic one, but like it does the job. Like it's just easy to clean up as well. Like we like to clean up afterwards. Like just pile all the mud up for them because it's. Like Dad and I, we were always out at the speedway after race meetings, and the amount of people that just leave mud, like because borderline's all through like the grass, so it's the amount of people that just leave mud there. So we know how hard it is to clean up after a race meeting. So and like I only do a couple of hours of it. So So anything we kind of do everything to just help out where we can really now. So
no, it's going to be good. I'm looking forward to it. As I said before, 24 cars were going to be for that field. One thing was actually brought to my attention. If you have a bad heat at round 2 with the car count, it could all
buried.
Mate, go see Maine. Like, geez, I never thought about that. Like, man, this is now starting to heat up.
I kind of want 2 middle draws, so you only have to pass a couple of cars every heat, not have a front and then have to pass 12 of them in the next one. So
so you start working out the numbers too. Yeah, no, it's going to be interesting.
Like about before COVID, like Victorian racing, like this was like it every weekend. You go to a race meeting with 60 cars, and they're all 40 of them can come out and win the race. So it's tough. So you just got to be aggressive in your heats. And
we haven't seen that for a while since Parramatta, but definitely we started building up into mid 40s and stuff like that on club days for us. But it just gets hard.
Just getting it's not easy.
No,
and you have one slip up in a heat and have a push or something, and you lose 3 cars. That's about 12 spots in a feature. So
and you're racing for a little plastic trophy in those races, like nothing. Like, but So you're actually okay. So take away. You've never been to Toowoomba, never been to Eastern Creek. So they're your 2 worst you'd consider rounds. Because Simpson, you've been to those ones. Mildura, you've been to.
Yep.
What are your thoughts about Mildura having the Australian title?
I think it's going to be probably the biggest one we've ever had, I reckon.
Nice.
Just because it's that centralised, like a lot of Sydney cars will come to it.
Yep.
I reckon you'll get a few Queenslanders come down to it. Obviously, the Victorians are going to go, even like SA cars, you'll probably get 30 SA cars. I think they did a quick poll, like Darryl sent us all an email the other day just in SA because he's our president there.
Yep.
And he just did a quick who's going to be there. We're looking to get a baseline of numbers, and I reckon about 30 people responded straight away. So that's just SA cars. So that you might get some WA cars coming over.
I spoke to Travis Armstrong, the president over there, and I believe there are cars coming. So
which is cool because you don't get to race them very often. So it's pretty cool to get them over here. And
I think if you end up with some Tassies, imagine getting some Tassies, and then we're going to have every state, every territory represented. I think that's the first time. That's going to be
Yeah,
huge.
it's
That's going to be.
cool because like you got Daniel and all that coming down from
Yep.
Daniel and Jamie coming down definitely because it's the week after or the week
Yep.
before the WOW final. So you're gonna have at least two of the NT guys there.
Yeah.
And yeah, definitely some like a couple of the other guys up there. They're good enough to come down and mix it and put on a real show. So
Absolutely.
no, it's gonna be so awesome. I reckon the track's probably one of the better ones that we can go racing. It's wide.
Yep.
It always blows off. Like it's always sliders having a good time out there. But yeah, it's gonna be probably one of the toughest ones.
Yep.
Probably one of the tougher ones since Warrnambool, I reckon, because
Yeah, right.
that car count, the Warrnambool car count, we had over 100, and it
Really?
was just,
Okay.
it's tough. So everywhere else has kind of been around the 80, and like 80's hard enough, let alone adding another 2 heat races worth of points into that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
you just kind of got to be passing a lot of cars in all your heat races, and
got to be focused.
it's
That's
not
for
easy.
sure. No, I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping they're going to take some. I've said it a million times. Just bring me some fireworks and you make me happy. Just put on a show. You know what I mean?
If
I'm
they
sure.
can replicate and even improve on what Lismore did last year, like that, like the show, like you can't do much about the track. Like one, we had rain. Like that second night was going to be awesome before that rain hit.
Yep.
Like that, those heat races were getting dicey.
Yep.
And it was going to put on a wicked show, but not much you can do about the weather. We're lucky we even got to race really in it. So with the weather that came through, even afterwards it rained that night. So, but the show that they put on, like it's that was one of the best. Like they just made us feel like
superstars, man.
Like stars, really.
Yeah.
Like we were, like you watch like supercars and NASCAR, and then they do your driver intros, and they've got us coming out between fireworks and through we're going through like a walkway, kids high fiving us, thinking we're the bee's knees. So it's that was such a cool experience. Glad we went up there and was a part of it.
I kind of wish.
Yeah, those guys at Lismore, they definitely put on a show.
Oh yeah, Mick and Kim, love them dearly. I kind of wish that it was known what was in Wade's head. Love Wade and his promotional stuff, because I'm just thinking, like, had the drivers known what was happening, I could see stubby coolers being thrown out to the crowds. I could see hats being thrown. I could just people just doing stuff to make it a bit more inclusive with the fans.
So we did know, but it all got rushed around when the rain came. We ended up it was supposed to be after the B main, in between like as your intros, and we'd walk straight out to our car.
Oh yeah, that way. But
the car was going to be on the infield, and everyone was kind of going to be ready for that. And so
when it all got
stuff
when it all got changed around,
t-shirts and stuff. And, but then we kind of got because it ended up they half changed it. They weren't going to do it at all. We were just going to have like a driver intro on the track. So we're all out there, and then they said, "Nah, stuff. We've got the time." I think there was a crash in the C main. They might have had to fix the fence.
Yep.
I reckon they said, "Nah, stuff. It will go. We'll go get it done now." So we kind of all got rushed around, and it could have been like it was awesome, but it could have been even better if everything went to plan and there was no rain and there was no rushing for weather. Like it would have been seriously cool. So.
No, hopefully, hopefully that again is another prelude to Mildura. And Wade's got some great ideas because he knows that track well. He knows the layout. He's going to come up with something, and who knows?
He'll come up with something. You know what goes on.
The drivers might
don't know what goes on his head half the time. Like it's the promotional side of the stuff. Like it's cool. Even just what he's doing with the WOW series. Like he's putting videos out all the time. And
well, I mean, I went and spoke to him and said, "Hey,
he's got like he's just showing off Wingless to how many people.
He's got thousands." I actually spoke to him
class in the best possible way. So
I spoke to him. I said, "Hey, man, look, I need to put a show together. And I didn't know how to put this show together to recap the WOW." And I said, like, any chance you mind if I borrow some of your stuff? And he's like, yeah. And he just threw all this, and my phone was going off for a good half hour with so much stuff, and I'm thinking, holy mate. No one's seen half this stuff yet. Like, this is too good. I can't use it. But, so, God love him.
Anything to promote the sport is just, and he's doing a great job. So,
but I think he's the right man leading what do they call him? The ringmaster. He's the right man being the ringmaster, leading all you clowns around.
Definitely. But the amount of work that those guys have put in, that group of guys that have done that, and it's just putting on a show. They're trying their best to display how good our class actually is. So it's good to Hopefully we can put on a show.
Yep.
hopefully I can do a bit better.
Oh, come on, man.
Be nice.
I
So,
still reckon don't be hard on yourself, man. Like everyone saw you come through that B into the A. Like you weren't a slouch, and that's what I started thinking to myself. Where did
I
he?
felt alright with myself, and then you see what Jack did, and he passed about
Well,
10 cars in the B main, and then about 15 cars in the feature. So you feel good, and
jeez.
then you
Well,
see that, and you're like, oh, maybe I wasn't that good.
I don't know how bad did you want it. I think he was prepared to go home with a wreck race car. I wasn't saying
Yeah,
he was going to do that. I'm just saying he was prepared to
he
do that.
was ready to do it.
The
Yeah,
way he was driving, I'm not putting
after
Jack
that
down at
first heat,
all.
he got
He just
that first heat, he got stitched up a little bit. So
big stitch up, big stitch up. But he just
so yeah,
he was prepared. He put it all on the line, and man, he put on a show.
yeah,
And then I think it was
yeah,
actually good.
definitely.
You said it before. Seeing Sammy Walsh was everyone was sort of holding the bottom, and he was like, "I ain't going to go out like
Yeah,
this."
that's what Dad said. He said you had to move up. He said because he said, "Oh, Sammy was all over you." He goes, "You just had to move up car length, and you would have passed some cars."
Yeah,
Like, yeah, I kind of ran out of puff. It was a bit
I
rough.
wasn't going to bring that up. All right, I wasn't going to bring that up. I think a few
Uh,
drivers ran out
yeah.
of puff on that track in the
Yeah,
feature.
I
That
was
was just
talking to a
too
few after. We
much.
had a few beers afterwards at the motel and
Yeah,
talking a bit of crap. And yeah, we're just saying, "Holy heck!" Like that was a rough, like not rough track, but like it was just fast and demanding. It was
yep.
just yeah. I haven't had that in a race car for a while. Like we've had a few slick ones lately, and the last year didn't have too much rough stuff. So it yeah took it out of me a bit. So
No, that's good. Hey, yeah. So we're all for Mildura. That's going to be great. Just before I let you go, what's your favourite racetrack you've been on? You've been around for a while. What's your favourite racetrack you've driven on?
I've kind of got a nearly bit of a list, really.
Throw us
Like
a list there.
Darwin was cool.
Yeah, throw us a
Darwin
list.
was just badass. Like it
Yep,
was just awesome. And I love Simpson.
yep,
Simpson's cool because it's so different. Like one end's different to the other.
yep.
It's one end could be slick, one's rough. It's yeah. Anyone that's when they're coming for this WOW series, that's why I'm just hoping to be kind of up there in the points coming out of Toowoomba and Sydney. So when we get to the couple of tracks that I actually go right at, we'll be okay. But yeah, no, Darwin and Simpson are probably my favourite ones. I reckon.
Nice. All right. No, they're good
I reckon
choice.
Bordertown might give them a run for their money once they get going.
Well,
So
let's see what happens this weekend for you down there.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, I love Borderline, but I just never do that well. Yeah, it's like one of those tracks. Like I've done that many laps around the joint. I should be good at it,
yep.
but every time we race, either something goes wrong or I stuff up, and you start off well and then do crap in the feature, or you start off crappy in your heats and have a good feature, but you're buried. So
Yep.
one day it'll all click and I'll have a good run there.
No, I'm sure it will.
Hopefully in February.
Hey, why not? There's your
Yeah, it'll
weekend
be
for you.
nice.
What's your favourite
Yeah.
memory in the sport? What's been your favourite memory as a driver in the sport?
Well, it's probably not even racing. After that Vic title, seeing my family after that Vic title, just how
Nice.
happy they were. So
That's
even
actually
like my brother wasn't there, but just like talking to him after, like even he was pumped and takes a little bit for him to get going. But like
yeah,
even after Darwin and that, just seeing everyone's reactions, just at the family how excited, like because it's not just me out there, it's like
that's
I'm
right.
racing for them as well. So
Yeah,
they put just as much work into it as what I do. Time, everyone, mum, dad, my partner Alana, and my brother, and even like his partner's been to a few races, like and Crowy, like I couldn't do this without Crowy. Like
yeah,
he's at every race meeting. Like all this week, we've had problems with our electrical side of stuff for the last couple of weeks.
yep.
Just trying to wheel in the shed, and he's been out all Sunday. He gave up his whole Sunday on the weekend just to come out and tinker in the shed and get it going. So, like without mum, dad, Crowy, Alana, I can't do this. So, yeah,
That's what it's all about.
yeah,
Actually, you guys, your
seeing them
family
happy
team,
makes me happy.
with them wearing that red, they're very easy to see during race
Yeah,
meetings.
easy
Yeah,
it's easy when you're on the track. You can see dad telling you go, don't run the bottom, don't run the
nice.
bottom. You see him giving you little hand signals.
Yeah, no, I actually on the weekend up at Toowoomba there, I was sort of looking around the crowd and I spotted your mum and your dad, and I thought, man, that's pretty cool. Like that's what
Yeah,
it's all
just
about.
seeing
It's
them
about
there.
family, you know what I mean? And
And
you
like
guys are
I
your own family.
always told my partner, I said, if I'm ever winning a title, don't film me. I was like, because like mum and her, they both film it, and so I can go back and watch it.
Yeah,
I said, don't film me. I can watch it on pay-per-view or whatever streaming service. I can go back and watch it. Everything's videoed these
yep,
days. I can watch it that way. I said, I want to see Dad's reaction. So yeah,
yeah,
when I won
right.
that big title,
That's a good
we
idea.
filmed Dad for the last 10 laps, and it's just the coolest thing. I've just seen the happiness that it brings to him. Like
Yeah,
yeah, it makes me like if I'm ever having a bad day, I just go back and watch that video and go, yeah,
Nice. No, that's good. That's good. I like that
we
idea,
can
Mitch.
have a
That's a
good
good
time.
idea. Yeah.
So yeah,
Um,
I
that's good.
like
No,
doing it with them.
I think yeah, you're like just talking to you guys, your family at the end of that tour race. You guys are the real reason what Wingless should be is about family and
Yeah,
the way
just
you
go
guys
over
are and
have
approachable
a bit of
people.
fun.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like we go racing with the Hillier family. Like since we started, like even in go karts, like he raced karts the same time we did.
Yeah, I didn't want to bring him
And
up
like
too much because he's got his episode coming up. But yeah,
yeah, he's coming up.
yeah,
But yeah, we just he raced karts. He come over to Wingless. Like we travel everywhere. We stay in the same motels. Like we just have a good time. We always like if you half the time if you listen to me and Steve, you'd think we hate each other, but we just giving each other little sly digs and it's just good fun. Like if they're in trouble, we help out. If
yep.
we're having a stinker, they come over, they give us a hand. So yeah, they make it fun. Like
No,
you
it's
go
good.
away, you could have a bad day, but you still end up you sit around the esky after the race meet and have a beer with them, and everyone else say like everyone like I couldn't believe it. Like after that our final in Toowoomba, we sat up. I reckon about 2 a.m. we went to bed. We sit in the motel.
Really,
Poor people at the motel would have hated it, but we were out there. Like
man. That's
Goldoni, Redpath, McCarthy's, Egan's,
nice.
we're all just having a few beers and just coincidentally all stayed at the motel and
That would have been a good stay at that
just
motel. Yeah.
sat down for a few beers and yeah, got a little rowdy, so it wasn't too bad.
Oh, there we go.
Made it fun. Made it fun. Made having a bad weekend fun.
Yeah, yeah. I actually,
So,
I picked up when I took my esky around. Everyone had a beer with everybody. I had a lot of beers that night, but I tell you what,
did you enjoy that? Yeah, that was nice.
it did make the night better for me, and I had a lot of fun too on that weekend. Hey Mitch, before I let you go, I do appreciate you giving you the time to sit down and have a chat with us. But
That's
I
all right.
like to give everyone the opportunity to thank their sponsors and partners who help them go up and down the highway. I mean, you guys driving from where you live all the way up to Toowoomba and back, you guys spend a lot of time on the highway, so a lot of people there help you and you need them. So the floor is yours, man. Just tell us who helps you.
Yeah, well, first off, mum and dad at the server. Mum tips in a bit of money and like just for fuel and stuff to get us up and down the road. So mum at BP GmbUS, like she's flat out at the moment working. She works 7 days a week, so just even to take the time off to come and go racing is awesome enough. But yeah, so yeah, mum at the servo, and then Matt at MG Plasterers, Matt and Marty, they come on. I know when was the Parramatta title? That was about 2018, wasn't it?
2018.
They
Yep.
come on board. I lost my main sponsor had to go a different way. So then he filled that hole pretty quick. He always told me, he said, if you ever need someone to help you out,
Nice.
give me a message. And so yeah, he's been on board since 2018, I reckon. So yeah, like they're my main two that help out all the time. And Burson Auto Parts down here, down home, they help me out so much. Like we've had a couple of engine problems. They don't even bat an eyelid to give us a hand. So
Awesome.
that's awesome. Cookie at the tyre factory, like I said, I lived in Warrnambool for about 6 years.
Yep.
And I worked for Cookie, and then once I left, I come home at COVID, and he stayed on board. He always helped me out. Always gives it's like it's just a tire or two and helps me out, or puts tires on the race trailer for us to go away, and
Yep.
just all those little things that help you get up and down the road. It's
That's
great,
it.
and really appreciate their support. Cool Chassis and Max Mouse Crash Repairs have been on since the beginning.
Yep.
They help me out, and MGS Towing, which is Lyons, that's Stevie Lyons.
Yes.
He helps me out with, and even now it's just a bit of advice here and there. But yeah, it used to be when he was racing, buy his secondhand tires and give me a good deal and all that. So he's always helped me out and always been there helping me out with the racing.
Yep.
Number 4 Composites, Mitch Sires, best panel maker in the country, I believe.
Yeah.
We've finally got some panels, got his panels on the car this year, but he's always helped me out with a bit of racing, and we finally got his panels on the car this year, and I reckon they've come up a treat. They've definitely the lightest things I've ever had on my race car. It means I can eat a couple more burgers.
There you go. I was going to say that's
yep. And then just TRP parts in the mount, they help out. EB Graphics, she's always designing me killer race cars. Like this year's hot rod's just a treat. I love it. I was a little bit nervy about going the chrome. Thought it might be a bit cocky, but when she showed it to me, I'm like, that's the perfect amount. Like it's not too over the top, and it's just it just looks great. And Dave at Camden Now and Signs, or Camden Building and Signages. He come on this year.
Yep.
He just little things. He helps me out and bit of advice. Like we had trouble with the electrical stuff the other day. Because he comes into the servo and buys a couple of sandwiches all the time when he's down in the mountain. He come in and he's given me advice, and we took it home and found some problems. So that, and he's come on board this year. And then
Nice.
then Triggy at Aussie Visa Services, he's always come on board and helps me out. Gives me a lot of shit for being a Collingwood supporter in the AFL, but because he's a good old Bombers man. So a little bit of a friendly rivalry we always give each other. And they're all the people that help me out, and I can't thank them enough. There's been other people along the way that come in and help. Jeff Rounds, like he helped me out for years. They've gone a different way this year with what they do, but I can't thank them enough for just what they've done.
Yep.
I reckon it was 5 years he was on my car. So
really,
like just these guys that have always hung around and just support my racing, and half the time they don't care how well you go. They just like to help you out. So without those guys, and even like everyone's sponsors, like without sponsors like the ones we've all got, us guys that just have normal jobs and just like to go racing on the weekends can't do it. So
that's it.
So it's always awesome to have these guys helping you out. So,
no, that's good, man. Look, I really appreciate you giving me the time to have a chat. I look forward to catching up with you in 2 weeks' time at Sydney.
Yeah,
and
Sydney,
we'll catch up, have a chat there, and have another brewski. But
definitely have a couple of them. Hopefully, we both our teams go a little bit better than what we did.
Hopefully.
Yeah, nice, stress-free run would be nice.
Oh, mate, yes. But you know what? I don't care. I'm having too much fun on this World Series, man. I just can't wait to go again.
It's so good. It's just bringing our class into the light that it deserves, I reckon. So,
absolutely.
So we all know how good the class is and what it can be. So it's nice that we can finally put it out to the people.
That's it. So thank you very much for that. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Be sure to check out Mitchell Broome. I'll put up his little Facebook team race page for everyone to check it out. Good luck this weekend, by the way, even though you're not up in Sydney.
Thank you. You guys too. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
And I'll see you guys on the next episode. The next one should be Kirby Hellier coming out tomorrow. Take care. See you then.